Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2, Chapter 6.4 Notes, Day 1. Today we are talking about division of polynomials. Now, before we get started with our learning target, which is to be able to divide polynomials by monomials, let's go over some vocabulary. We've got 8x over 16, okay? Now I'm just going to move this over a little bit. Perfect. So, the 8x on top, that is called the dividend. And the 16 on the bottom, that's called the divisor. Now, when we divide this out, 8 over 16, well, that's 1 over 2. And we all know we don't need that the 1 there, but the x stays on top. So this whole thing, our answer, that is what's called the quotient. The quotient is the answer to a division problem. Okay? All right, now let's go through and do some basic reviews. 24 divided by 4, what is that? Well, that's 6. And then we still have the w squared. If you just hold on real quick, my computer's having a problem. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so we were dividing that out. So 24 divided by 6. Oh, 24 divided by 4 is 6. And then that w squared stays up on the top. Okay, the next one. How many times does 125 or 25 go into 125? So you got to count it out. 25, 50, 75, 100, 125. That's a total of 5 times. And now, who wins with the x's, the top or the bottom? Well, the bottom wins, and the bottom wins by 2. Remember that we subtract those, and that's where the 2 comes from. Another way to think of that is if we have 2 x's on the top and 4 x's on the bottom. When we start crossing those out, you still have the 2, but those are on the bottom, and that's where that comes from. Okay? All right, and number 3. Well, we've got 2 negatives, so 2 negatives, we know our answer is going to be positive, but we need to reduce 36 over 42. What goes into both of those numbers? What goes into both of those is 6. And when you divide those out, 36 divided by 6 is 6, and 42 divided by 6 is 7. And then who wins with the y's, the top or the bottom? Well, the top wins, so the top wins by 2. All right. Now, the new material. Oh, let's go right here. So, find the quotient. Note, if the dividends are not written in standard form from the original problem, the quotient should be. So, always write in standard form, okay? Now, our little hint for you is to divide each term, every single term, by the monomial. Okay, and after you do that, you need to reduce, okay? And always write it in standard form. So, the first thing we need to know is this in standard form? And that's where we're just looking at the x's. And is this? Yeah, it is. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take each one of these, so that's 24x squared divided by 4. Okay, do not lose your signs. 8x divided by 4. 20 divided by 4. And then you reduce each one of these. 24 divided by 4 is 6x squared. Negative 8x divided by 4 gives me negative 2x. 20 divided by 4 is 5. Okay, so we've reduced each term, and is it written in standard form right now? It is, so we're good. All right, example number 2. So we're going to kind of pair these things off. I have to divide everything by the monomial. Plus, we got 54w squared over 6w plus, and then that last one, 6w over 6w. All right, so 12 divided by 6 is 2. Now w cubed over w, remember we subtract those, and that's where w squared comes from. Okay, 54 divided by 6 is 9, and the top wins by 1. And then 6w divided by 6w, we get 1. Okay, and that's written in standard form. Let's move on to 3. Sometimes they're going to be written a little bit differently, okay? And we need to know that the 5 right here, that's the divisor. That's what we need to divide everything by. So what I would do is I would just divide everything by 5 like this. And then just divide it out. So negative 35 divided by 5 would be negative 7. And to the 5th, all my variables are going to stay the same. 25 divided by 5 is 5, and to the 4th. Now, this is already written in standard form. The 5's cancel. 10 divided by 5 is 2n, and then 5 divided by 5 is 1. And it's in standard form, so we're good. So what we're going to do is the same thing, but now the key thing to notice is this is not written in standard form, okay? Because my 3 is the highest exponent, that should be first, then my 2, then the w, and then just the 8. And I'm going to divide everything by negative 4w. So this is what I'm going to divide first. Negative 12 divided by negative 4 is positive 3w squared. Okay? That's that first part. Okay? Now, let's do the green right here. Negative 28 divided by negative 4 is positive 7w. Okay? Those match up. Now, the third one over here. 6 divided by 4, well, let's see. Off to the side, if you can't remember that, reduce the fraction, and it's negative 3 over 2. So negative 3 over 2. And now the last one, negative 8 divided by negative 4. So negative 8 divided by negative 4 is positive 2, but don't forget that w. That w is still on the bottom. So then these are the ones that match up. Okay? So see how we kind of divided it out and then put everything in proper order. So the last thing to do is to put a box around it. All right, example number 5. Once again, this is not in order, so I'm going to come through. Well, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and there's 4. So since we actually have to rewrite this one, let's do it one thing at a time. We got negative 50 a cubed all divided by 3a squared. So I took care of that one. Next, that's a positive 30a squared divided by 3a squared plus 18a over 3a squared plus 3 over 3a squared. Okay? Now, the negative 50 over 3, does that reduce? It does not. So that stays negative 50 over 3. And then the a's, who wins, the top or the bottom? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just going to rewrite it so it looks nicer. Okay, the top wins by 1. 30 divided by 3 is 10, and the a's cancel out. So you can go cross cross. Plus 18 divided by 3 is 6, and then the bottom wins by 1. And then 3 divided by 3 is 1, and then a squared on the bottom. So do not forget what goes on the top and what goes on the bottom, because 1a squared does not equal a squared, okay? That is something very what's going on here? That is something very important to know, okay? Let's flip it over. So we got example number 6. Why don't you guys start this one out and see how you do? So please pause the video. Okay, and there's your answer. I rewrote the divisor right here underneath. And now the key thing to remember, when you've got negative 3 divided by negative 9, that does not equal positive 3, okay? Now, look at it. What number's bigger, the top or the bottom? Well, the bottom's bigger. That's where it goes, all right? Because if you reduce this by 3, the 3 stays on the bottom. And then since that was negative 9m, the m comes down, okay? All right, now, example number 7. I want to see if you guys can do this one all by yourself, okay? Go ahead and start. Pause the video, and then you'll see part of the work, and then I'll give you time to check it, and then try it again, okay? So when you divide everything out, that's what you should get. So why don't you go ahead and pause the video one more time and finish it up. Okay, and there's the final answer. Now, one thing to notice, when you've got a squared b squared over 10ab, since the 10's on the bottom, this also equals 1/10 AB. That's another way to write it, okay? That's the same thing as saying AB over 10. All of that's the same, all right? Another thing to know, that 10 over 2 does not equal 5, okay? It equals 1/5 because you divide the top and the bottom by 2, okay? All right, example number 8 is all yours, guys. Good luck, and be careful about your negative signs, all right? Okay, and there's your answer. Now, if you have any questions on this, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. We would love to help you out. If you notice the back of this, this is all of your homework. and it says to do it on a separate sheet of paper. Okay, well that's it for Algebra 2, Chapter 6.4 Notes, Day 1. As always, Mr. Grice signing off and saying thanks for watching.